Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome everybody to a quick tutorial on how to defeat the Empress of Light with just 2 teleporters for the worthy Master Mode. Let's get to the setup real quick, and then we talk about a few things otherwise. You want to build your teleporters here a little bit above the ground, so enemies don't hit you. And the reason why I extend the platforms here is because I like to fight her, or begin the fight at least, in the hollow. And if there's these laser shooting enemies during night, then they would be kind of inconvenient. So you just put down a teleporter and a lever, and then you want to go 180 tiles across in order to get from teleporter to teleporter. So the way I like to do this is I just get 180 wire, temporarily put these in the trash, and I'm actually missing one wire right now because, well, then I just go with the 180 wire that I have in a straight line over here, and this is where we land. So this is going to be where we build the platform, put the teleporter and the lever. Make sure to grab your wires again and also connect the levers. Click. Check whether the levers work, and there we go. That's the entire setup. So, let's talk optimizations real quick. I like to defeat the Empress of Light after I get a good weapon from Duke Fishron, or if I'm lucky, I get the Seedler from Plantera. All of these weapons here are actually pretty competent, with the unfortunate exception of the Tempest Staff. As much as I like Summoner, it's not a particularly good setup. The goal of my setups is that you have to grind or farm very little in order to, well, defeat the bosses. This might not be the fastest method, but it is a reasonably safe and easy method to do for the most part. Which is kind of the goal of my setups, let's put it this way. Alrighty, for optimizations, you can just go for a Feral Claw and the melee weapon if you get a flare on. The hollowed helmet for ranged attacks with a quiver, which is probably the most difficult one of the items to acquire in this setup. For the tsunami, a lucky or a mana flower in the accessory slot for automatically using mana for the bubble gun or the razor blade typhoon, and as mentioned before, unfortunately the Tempest stuff is not that great. It's just too slow to effectively deal damage to her. I think with a Mega Shark you would just be better off. Alright, let's go with the melee setup because that's just kind of the easiest way to do this for now, while I'm also talking over to the tutorial. I also have something here that prevents knockbacks with the Obsidian Shield. It should be relatively easy to be acquired. Alrighty, further setups or optimizations. If you have defeated Duke Fishron, you get a Shrimpy Truffle, and the Duke Fishron mount here actually gives you a 15% damage boost if you get the Duke Fishron mount, well, wet, really. So what you can do is, from the party girls, you can buy bubbles, where you can go through the bubble blocks here, but water or liquid cannot. So what you can do is you just grab 3 buckets of honey, put these in here, with overflow, doesn't really matter, and dip down. And as long as you have the glowy eyes, you know you have the 15% damage boost. And if you make it honey, you even get the life regeneration. Of course, you can also add some heart lantern, campfire, a bust statue, whatever you want for this setup too. Now, a quick note. If you use a campfire, or actually anything that you can interact with your right click, be wary. If you use the void bag, the flying piggy bank, or anything like that, the way I teleport is I use Smart Cursor, and as you can see, it highlights the lever. In fact, it highlights the closest thing I can interact with a right click that is to my cursor. In this case, there's only the lever here, so no matter where I click, I will activate the lever. But if the campfire is here, I will enable and disable the campfire, so be careful where you place the campfire, the void bag, the piggy bank, or a trapdoor even, because that could kind of be in your way. Further, campfires and heart lanterns, etc., they can be disabled if you put them through the wires, so just make sure to just put them somewhere to the side. They have a really wide range anyways. Alrighty, And with that setup out of the way, I'm gonna just make it nighttime. As mentioned before, you can do this both during nighttime as well as daytime. I will probably not go for the kill on daytime anytime soon in my hardcore playthroughs, but hey, maybe you're braver than me. For buffs, I just go with very basic strong buff food, which you can get bacon very easily from the party girl, as well as sake for slight critical hit chance increase as well as attack speed increase. I'm not even sure that it affects the flare on at all, but let's just get going. Also, I'm going to activate auto pause just so I can explain the individual attacks from the Empress of Light. So here we go. First of all, she's always going to do these chasing bullets, and these are the reason why we have the entire setup 180 blocks apart, because if I just teleport, they're not going to reach me. Then also, she's going to do this body slam attack. As you could see, I literally didn't get hit by it. In fact, I do not have God mode active right now. She will not hit me if I just stand still. Usually. There was like this one time where I still got hit by it anyways. I do not know why it happens, but whatever. Then there's this blossom or the flower, where she's just going to stand here for a while. You just teleport away. Also, what you can do actually alternatively, instead of teleporting away from the big flower, is you can alternatively place a teleporter like down here and wire it up so you can teleport back over to the right. And just drop down and get more DPS in with your ranged weapon or anything like that if you want to optimize a little bit. I'm actually just gonna start dealing damage because this is gonna take long enough anyways. So these starts here, sometimes they will hit you, as in sometimes one of these will just go straight to your position, sometimes they do not. And I just kind of usually like to gamble a little bit because the only thing that is truly deadly if you fight her during the nighttime is her body slam attack. That's the one thing you do not want to get hit by. Which, by the way, that body slam attack does hit you in phase 2, so you're only safe in phase 1. Either way, I just like to stand here, see whether I get hit or not. The hollowed holy protection is usually going to prevent the hit anyways, and I just like to add some damage. There's some more chasing bullets, just teleport away. Don't worry about the body slam attack, and here, these star attacks. You actually want to wait just a little longer. Don't immediately teleport, because otherwise you will get some of these light beams here on the right side too. But you do want to teleport basically away in time. Then this is the star attack again. This time I did get hit, so I want to teleport away because they will hit you up to 3 times if you actually stay there. And then we basically reset the entire thing. Righty. I think I teleported slightly earlier away from the star attack over there, which is why I did end up getting hit. So you just teleport away as one of these things is about to reach you. And that is kind of the entire setup. There's not really anything more complicated than this for phase 1. Phase 2 is going to get a little bit more hectic than this, however. So, also, worth noting, I do like to use Ichor bullets or Ichor arrows in order to keep the Ichor debuff up if I do not have a melee weapon. If I had, like, for example, the mage weapons, I can also just use any other form of using debuffs. You know, I don't think I need to tell you on how to optimize your damage, do I? Okay, and we're just gonna do this a little longer. I'm gonna just play this out until phase 2. Normally in my setup tutorials, or tactics if you will, I like to speed this up with a zenith just to explain the next phases. But Empress of Light can be tricky enough, and there can be a little bit of a variability in her movement, so I might want to show off the entire thing. Maybe as a quick heads up, this is a journey world, which means the bosses actually have 200% health rather than 133%. So this Empress of Light actually has way more health than a regular journey mode would have. Either way, once she reaches half HP, that is when we're going to be moving into phase 2. After this she should transform right here. And there we go. Now, this is the very first attack, and this is also the most tricky one to entirely avoid. This attack is effectively the reason why I'm not terribly comfortable trying to do this during daytime, even though you can absolutely do it. So the thing is, These beams here, what you want to do is you want to wait just long enough until the second set of beams appears here, and then you teleport over. Then you do that again, 1, 2, and then you teleport, 1, 2, teleport. And that's kind of that. For these chasing beams here, you actually want to effectively teleport away earlier rather than later, because afterwards she's going to do her body slam, tackle attack, whatever you want to call it, and, important, in phase 2, this one will hit you, and it does like 880 damage or something. It will one-shot you if it hits you full-on frontal without ridiculous defense equipment. Technically you can, I guess, survive it. The stars, chasing bullets, the sunflower dance, and that's kind of more or less the entire thing. Teleport away from the body slam. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a little bit of practice, but if you don't do this during daytime immediately, you do have a little bit of leeway with both the Holy Protection aura of the hallowed equipment, as well as the only thing that instantly kills you is really the body slam tackle attack, this one right there. Everything else you do survive a little bit of damage. Also, as you can see, it's not as strict as I mentioned it to be, it's just kind of... You can freeform teleport a little bit too. Usually you will be fine if you just panic teleport, it should work out. Well, at least during nighttime. Yeah, I think that's kind of largely it. 1, 2, 1, 2. Also, in case you didn't know, the attacks the Empress of Light chooses are not random. They are entirely patterned. You know or can know exactly which attack comes next, and when you can stay or when you need to prepare for the next chase attack or whatever you want to call it, so to speak. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and there we go. So yeah, I wish you good luck. I hope you enjoy this little tutorial. Basically, the entire purpose of this is to make as simple of a setup with having to grind as little as possible in order to be able to defeat these bosses. Not just kind of as a little finisher touch. Really, don't make sure that you do not get hit by the body slam attack, because otherwise you're toast. Have a good time.